Hello and welcome. I'm Austin Kovalarczyk, arranger and composer, bringing you episode 3 of Book Review. This time we'll be talking about Building Walking Basslines by Ed Friedland. So, as usual, we'll start with the author. I know nothing about Ed Friedland. Hadn't even heard of the guy. I Googled him and found a link to his website, which I'll include in the description, but other than that, I knew nothing. It seems he's quite the substantial bass author and musician, plays with the Mavericks, who are a Grammy Award-winning band that I've never heard of. So, yeah, I'll let it speak for his website speak for itself. The book itself starts out with the absolute basics. Reading music, building a chord. Very, very basic stuff that would be super helpful to anyone just starting out, which is kind of what this book is aimed at. Following that, though, it's split into two parts. Part 1 slowly explains how to build a bass line from root 5, very, very basic root 5th, that kind of thing. It builds up to more complex approaches, chromatic approaches, dominant approaches, scalar approaches, talks about different progressions and a variety of keys, shows a great variety of example bass lines, too. It even introduces the rhythm changes right before part 2, which I'll talk more about later. But my favorite part is these full-page examples with analysis. Yeah. Hang on. Something like this, which is a full-page bass line, and under each note, there's a little description of what that note does in the chord, and how that works in the bass line. Building up on a variety of things you've been talking about throughout the section. Super neat if you're really theory-minded, kind of like I am, because I found that really helpful. Part 2. Here we get to the funky stuff. That's right. Thirds and sevenths of chords. I know what you're thinking. That's a lot. But it does it well. We talk about scales. We get modes. All good stuff. More example bass lines. Talk about scalar motion, arpeggiation, the 2-5-1 progression. Really in-depth. Anything a beginner was gonna need. Like I mentioned earlier, I really enjoy how Mr. Friedland is placing this emphasis on the rhythm changes. And for those of you who aren't really big into jazz, rhythm changes is this set of chord progressions from a Gershwin tune known as I've Got Rhythm, which got used and stolen and written over in a whole bunch of other jazz standards, and has basically just become one of those things that jazz musicians know. It's part of the jazz canon. So I think it's really cool that he's trying to use this concept to teach the basics, because it helps sets them up for, presumably, real life. This book is very jazz-focused on its bassline building. I mean, obviously this knowledge could be applied to other types of music, but this is very jazz-bass specific. It's a great, great tool, honestly. A plus for teaching methods right there. From there, it talks about other approach methods, really tries to hammer home this chromatic movement that's really indicative of jazz bass lines, especially in more modern jazz. Ways to spice things up. And there's some closing remarks, reminders to keep things like trying them out for yourself, trying to figure out how they work, just trying to solidify in your head what makes a good bass line. The appendix is actually just 10 different standard progressions. All changes, no example bass lines, but each one has this quick description, which tells you what to look out for. For example, progression number 8. This song is tricky because of the AABC form. The progression in bars 5 through 8 appears several times in the tune, making it easy to lose your place. Concentrate. And then it's just chord changes. Slashes with popular chord notation over the top. The kind of thing you'd see if you were playing a jazz small band, or a pop gig. All in all, good stuff. So yeah, that's the content. On to availability. Now, obviously, just like most things these days, you can find this on Amazon. It's really cheap, $20. It's also available through Ed Friedland's website, linked in the description, along with the Amazon link. And honestly, this seems like a really popular book. It's got over 500 Amazon reviews, which is mind-boggling. Like, honestly, who takes time to review something on Amazon? Props to you if you do that, honestly. I don't have the patience. And let's be real, I heard about this through an Adam Neely Q&A, So this isn't exactly a niche, unheard of book, and you can probably find this even cheaper on used websites. But as an aspiring author myself, support authors through legitimate releases. Up to you, though. I understand availability is a big thing, price is a big thing. Believe me, with all the money I keep spending on music books, budget concerns are real. Bottom line, would I recommend this book? Yeah, definitely. It's super useful if you're looking to get in the world of jazz bass lines. Honestly, I bought it from a compositional standpoint. I was pretty spoiled as a beginning composer for the jazz band. My bassist in high school was really good, and my bass lines were not. So he just kind of told me to avoid writing them. Then I got to college. The bassist in our jazz band was a little less free with her improvisation. Different levels, obviously. Still good, still a fair bassist, but not one for improvising bass lines. So had to learn how to write them. Had to learn how to make them interesting after I was told they were boring. And this popped up. Heard about it from Adam Neely, and I went, that guy can play bass. I'll check out the book. And I'm also a bassist myself, if you can tell from the bass right here in the background. It was useful. It was helpful. I can play more interesting lines. I can write more interesting lines. And if you want to fit into either of those categories of playing or writing interesting lines, pick it up. It's good stuff. But now that I've rambled on for a while, if you enjoyed the review, want to see more, subscribe, like, do those common things. If you're planning on picking up the book, or if you already have it, feel free to leave an opinion in the comment section below. I always love to hear opinions or thoughts on the books I'm talking about. So yeah, that's that. I'll see you next time.